Hey, welcome back. Mavic Man here. This video lecture will concentrate on how volcanoes form. So quite literally, after this lecture, you'll be exploding with knowledge. So let's get right to it. Volcanoes form on any of these tectonic settings. Picture over here on the upper left-hand corner is a plate boundary, a convergent plate boundary, two plates colliding, such as an ocean plate and a continental plate. And like you learned previously, the ocean plate is made up of more dense material, so it's going to subduct. And as it subducts, it gets pushed into the asthenosphere and it gets eaten away, or basically melts. And as it melts, it rises and it bubbles the overriding continental plate, which is forming volcanoes on the overriding continental plate called a continental volcanic arc, like we learned before. This tectonic setting is when you have a convergent plate boundary, but when two ocean plates collide. Now, the two ocean plates are dense, but one is slightly more dense, so that one's going to subduct. It's going to reach higher temperatures. It's going to melt, and it's going to form blisters on the overriding oceanic plate, and it's going to rise and maybe peek out of the ocean, and you have a volcanic island arc. And these two tectonic settings, they're not plate boundaries. This is a hot spot underneath an oceanic crust that melts through the oceanic crust and forms a linear island chain, like the Hawaiian Islands. Or we could have a hot spot underneath a continental crust that could form this huge caldera, which basically is this huge volcanic eruptions that took place in the past that erupted so violently that it's it expelled most of its magma out of its chamber, and there was nothing to hold the mountain up, and it just collapsed, creating this huge divot in the Earth's surface. But anyway, that could happen due to a hot spot directly underneath a continent. Now, you'll find these tectonic settings, but all around the world, and right here, where, as you can see, my pen is outlining all these little red dots. Those red dots connect to form the famous Ring of Fire, and that is where the plate boundaries are located that are conducive to form volcanic eruptions. Like here would be the Hawaiian Islands, nowhere near a plate boundary. That's because a hot spot is directly underneath the oceanic crust, melting through the oceanic crust, creating that linear island chain. So the Ring of Fire. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, why is it that some volcanoes, like in Hawaii, just spew out lava constantly and it's really not all that violent compared to huge mountain ranges blowing apart? So, the things that affect viscosity of magma, which really goes into the explosiveness of the volcanic eruption. Temperature is one. Temperature of magma definitely has an impact on whether or not that volcanic eruption is going to go boom or just kind of like shoot out lava constantly, but not go boom. Composition, such as silica or gas content, which is basically silica. We've got junk that weighs it down. And silica kind of like weighs it down and it becomes way more viscous. Or, just to refresh your terminology, if something is highly viscous, that means it's very gooey. It resists flow. And if it's really gooey, it tends to trap in more gases. And if it tends to trap in more gases, boom, potentially can go the volcano. So if a volcano has high silica content in its magma chamber, it has the ability to hold more gases, which that gas can build up, and then eventually thick magma traps gases, and boom goes the mountain. But if that particular type of volcano has magma that is low silica content, that means it's not very viscous. That means it's very, very, very fast. Like if you take maple syrup and put it in the microwave before you put it on your pancakes, then it kind of makes it more runny. If you add heat to it, the hotter it is, the faster it is, and the thinner it is. So if it's thin, it doesn't mainly trap the gases as much as thick, gooey magma. So therefore, that volcanic eruption does not go boom. So while we're at it, let's just talk about felsic and mafic. You've learned that continental crust is a lot less dense than oceanic crust. This is like BLAC. And the reason is because it's made up of feldspar and silica. And that's how it got its name felsic, a little bit of feldspar, and a little bit of silica combined, which are usually light in color. And this is like the slow moving lava. This is the gooey lava. This is the lava that traps gases. So a felsic volcano tends to be more explosive because it traps the gas. Now, in Earth's formation, all the heavy elements kind of sunk to the center of the Earth and mafic, and as we know, oceanic crust is like shack. It's more dense. The reason why it's more dense is because it's made up of magnesium and iron. So mafic comes from a little bit of magnesium and a little bit of iron. And this rock is usually dark. It's usually really, really, really hot and high in temperatures. So therefore, it's very fluid. It's not viscous. It's fast moving lava. It doesn't have the ability to trap a whole bunch of gases. So therefore, this type of volcano doesn't go boom boom. Okay, we'll talk about Mafic Man in a little bit, but I'm running low on time here. I'd like to keep the video lectures to about 10 minutes or less. So there are different types of volcanoes. First, we have a shield volcano. Shield volcanoes are forming from ocean to like a hot spot underneath an ocean, where a hot spot melts up through an oceanic rock, and that oceanic rock then makes this huge, broad volcano. I say huge, but I mean in terms of like broadness. It's not very tall. It looks like a warrior's shield. That's why it's nicknamed a shield volcano. I mean, so as this volcano is erupting really fast-paced hot lava, it doesn't really have time to, I mean, it takes a long time. It covers a lot of area before it solidifies and hardens. That's why it's really broad, but not very tall. Some hazards associated with shield volcanoes would be fast-flowing lava and gases coming out. Next, we have a volcanic rift, which is pretty common with divergent plate boundaries, like in Iceland, when you have two continental plates diverging, and that creates the middle, like the previous lecture that you watched. The middle gets very, very thin, and magma rises up and breaks through that thin part in the middle and shoots out. Now, this isn't like your typical volcano, but this is like this crack right here. If this is 4 miles long, this wall of lava is 4 miles long. And since it's from a continental crust, it's usually felsic, which could go boom boom, but it's really no volcano to go boom boom. It just comes out of the ground. The third type of volcano is called a cinder cone. Cinder cones are a little bit different. They can form in a couple ways. First off, this is a parent volcano, and the parent volcano shoots up debris, and wind might take it, and then that wind slows down and it kind of drops its debris, and it builds up this cinder cone, which could be very steep but not very tall. A second way a cinder cone form is when you have like really hot steam or magma close to the surface, but it's not at the surface. The magma interacts with groundwater, and that magma turns the groundwater to like steam. And as the steam pops up to the surface, it just shoots out of the ground, and all this material just comes dropping, and it forms this cone shape, which is a cinder cone. A really good example of this would be Paracutin in Mexico. And the fourth type of volcano would be a composite cone. These are your picturesque, huge mountains in the background with ice caps, and these are the explosive types because they contain felsic. This is like an O colliding with a C, and the O melts into the C and it makes this continental crust bubble, and you have also, this can form with a hot spot underneath the continent. And there are many hazards associated with these types of volcanoes, like lahars and pyroclastic flows and lava flows, even though that they're very slow. But just like boom, this entire side of the mountain can go bye-bye like it did in Mount St. Helens. So the reason why a composite cone is very, very tall, it's because it has like slow-moving lava, it hardens, and then rock debris, and then slow-moving lava, and then this like it's also nicknamed a stratovolcano because you can actually see the layers, which make it strong. And a very strong base can support really, really, really tall heights. And there you have it, how volcanoes form in 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.